Hi, it's Angela from North Carolina, and we're getting ready to make some chicken and rice. I needed to cook something without going to the grocery store, so I figured I'd make a quick pantry dinner. First thing I've done is I've heated up my Dutch oven. This isn't a real Dutch oven, but it's what I'm using as one, and it has a lid. It has to be lidded, and it's heated up, and I'm getting ready to put in my olive oil, which is 1.5 tablespoons. And I'm going to let that heat up while I tell you what I'm putting together. So I've got boneless chicken breast. A lot of people prefer thighs for their chicken and rice. I'm going to swirl my olive oil around, and I'm going to put the boneless chicken breast in there in a second. I've got butter, 3 stalks of celery, some carrot, just because we like it. I've got a medium yellow onion chopped up, and I've got 3 medium cloves of garlic. Let me turn my pot down. It's too hot. So I'm going to let that cool off for a second. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my chicken in. And I'm using 4 cups of chicken broth, which is an entire box. And just because I want it to be a hearty dinner, and it's from the pantry, I'm also adding a can of corn that I washed and drained. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in my chicken and let it start cooking. And then once it gets in there, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Cut this off. I'm not a fan of those little fat things on chicken that look like a membrane. They probably have flavor, but okay, so the chicken is going to brown. And then once it's cooked, we're going to take it off of the oven and we're going to put it off to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and salt it. Now I'm using some table blend because we don't like a lot of salt. And I'm going to go ahead and put in a little bit of salt too. I've got some Himalayan rock salt. I'm going to put a little bit of that in. And these are going to cook 4 to 5 minutes per side, my breast. And I'm going to gently, just kind of stir them around every now and then while I'm doing whatever I'm doing in the kitchen. Oh, I'm going to get it together, I promise. I started my chicken off kind of low, and now I've turned it up to kind of a medium high, so I'll brown it, kind of a golden brown, light golden brown, because I want this completely cooked. This is a one-pot dinner, which is one of my favorite dinners. Granted, I'm going to have to wash up things like this. That's not that dirty. So everything's going into the one pot. I am a one-pot fan. So these are coming out. And I'm going to turn it down and put in my celery. Alright, now I've got a little bit of grease left. So my celery is going to go in first because celery takes longer to cook. And I need my onions to stay translucent and clear and not turn black and brown. So there goes my celery, and like I said, I've got 3 stalks. Our celery's been really bad here lately, and mine was filthy. Make sure you really wash your celery really good. I don't know what's going on with our vegetables in my area, but it's just awful. So the celery's going to go in for about, I'd say 5 minutes and saute, and I'm going to turn it down a little bit because I think I've got my heat just a little bit too high. Along the way, I added a little bit of pepper, and now I'm putting in a tablespoon of butter because my celery's cooked. And I've got 1 medium yellow onion diced going in. And it's going to cook, I'd say 5 minutes also. So it's 5 minutes for the celery, and it's going to be 5 minutes for the onions. And I did stand here and I did stand here and stir, because I didn't want to burn my celery. This onion didn't get quite chopped. So like I said, this is just going to be 5 minutes. And I also poured a little bit of the juice from the chicken. When I put the chicken in the bowl that I had cooked, some of the chicken juice drained down. So I put that in here too for flavor. My recipe does call for your chicken drippings. So this is going to be stirring up for 5 minutes. Let me set my timer for 4:40 because I've already been talking while it was doing it. My onions just became translucent right at the 5-minute mark. So now I'm going to put in some more spices. My recipe calls for a combination of dried and fresh parsley. I only have dried. And if you follow my channel, you know I say go with what you got. So that was about 3.5 tablespoons of parsley total, maybe not quite that much. And I'm stirring it in. And now I'm going to put in my thyme. I've got about 1 teaspoon of thyme leaves. They're going in. Let them get kind of toasted around for a second. And now I'm going to put in my fresh garlic. I think I told you I've got 3 medium cloves. So it's going to go in now too. And it's going to do its thing and marry up these seasonings with the onion and the celery. The onion and the celery is pretty much our base. So I'm going to be stirring this up too. And it's going to stir till it's aromatic, 1 minute. At the 1 minute mark, I'm going to bring in my rice. So I just hit the 1 minute mark and I stirred it the entire time. This seems like a pain, but just getting it started is the hard part. Once you put the lid on it and walk away, you're finished. And like I said, it's all in one pot. So I'm going to gently toast my rice for about, I'd say 4 minutes maybe. I'm giving it a good scraping. I'm going to start out with 3-minute toasting. And by toasting, I mean that my rice is going to be kind of a pretty brown color. And if you think you might need more butter or oil, this would be the time. But I don't believe I do. See how everything looks coated? Well, I'm just about toasted. You can actually smell the aroma from the rice, and it's changed color. See how it's sort of a light brown now? So that's how I know it's done. And you can, the whole house smells like rice. So now I'm going to put a little bit of chicken broth in to deglaze the pan. Whoa, I went to shake it. I tell you, you come to my channel, you're going to get some entertainment. I can promise you that. I'm not going to need a shower. My dogs will probably eat me when this is over. Oh, it's all over everywhere. I was going to shake up the chicken broth. Well, that went real well. So I'm deglazing the pan. That means I'm sucking up all of the good broth of like the oil and the flavoring from that chicken. And so this is giving my rice that final little toasting crunch. Now I'm going to add a little bit of salt here. And I think I told you I did add some pepper along the way. I'm getting my chicken back. And I'm going to lay my chicken on top of the rice. And then I'm going to pour my broth on it. Oops, I forgot something very important. I'm adding corn now. You can jazz it up with any vegetables. And like I said, I washed those off and drained them. And I also cut 1 carrot julienne style. Hold on. I'm not sure what we've got going here. I'm sorry. So by julienne, I mean, see how thin they are? So they're going to cook while the rest of this cooks. And I did carrot both for color and nutrition. Kind of a combination. So now I've got it all stirred up. You can hear it still popping with my juices from the butter and the oil that cooked the chicken. And I'm going to get that in an even layer. And I'm going to lay my chicken on top. And then I'm going to pour the broth on. And this is when I walk away. Now, if you want creamy chicken and rice, at this stage, you would add some soup, possibly, if you want. If I'm going to add soup, I'll wait just a little bit longer, but I prefer to add cream of celery if I'm going to add soup, just because we're not big cream of chicken fans. So the rest of my 4 cups of chicken broth is going in. I've turned it down to simmer, and I'll be back in a while. I would say I'm going to let this cook about 20 to 25 minutes, so I'm setting my timer on the 20-minute mark so I won't get it too dry. And I can't find my hot, tight-fitting lid, so I'm just throwing something on. It has to have a lid. Real quick, I want to show you, since I can't find my lid, and I really need this to be a Dutch oven, I've made my own. I've got foil tapped all the way around because this pot has little spouts and air was escaping. It's bad when you have so many pots and pans you can't find the right lid. But real quick, I was going to show you my can. Times have changed. This can's probably older than a lot of you. I got it in 1987, and Lord knows how much rice we had to eat to get this. I had to save box tops for about 5 months, and it came filled with rice. Isn't that a hoot? Nowadays, you know, you would never have to send in a box top. You'd probably scan your articles. Isn't that great? I'm cheating on my shredded chicken. If you've got a little chopper, it's perfect. Otherwise, I could have been chopping all day. This recipe is really best with finely chopped chicken, shredded. So my rice is now ready, and it's fluffy. So I'm going to fold in my chicken to the fluffy rice. And we have just finished making chicken and rice. Easy peasy. Now I'm going to shake it up just a little bit for something different. I'm going to turn it into cheesy rice. Get a little calcium into our system. Well, this is for my husband. I don't eat chicken. I'm a vegetarian. A tunitarian. So let me put some in the bowl. You can see how thick and beautiful and delicious this is. And it makes enough that you can freeze some if you want. It's just up to you. Oops. I missed a piece of chicken. Hold on. It's awfully hot. Ooh, too hot for me to touch. Alright, so let me put some in a bowl and I'll show it to you. My carrots are tender crisp. Everything's ready. This would be so good with some cornbread. Show it to you. Doesn't that look good? Give it a try. Let me know what you think. Bye-bye.